Hello, good morning, and hello. What is up, responsible day traders? Today is Monday, January 3rd, 2022. I'm Lindsay Duff, and this is Responsible Day Trading. Took me a little while to get out of bed this morning. We are in a freeze here in Texas, which we don't see that often. So it is cold and it's a little hard to get out of bed, but we're here and we're ready to get this party started. Let's talk about the first thing that we need to talk about to get this day rolling. So let's go ahead and look at the news. Now, guys, if you ever want to look at the news, you can just come here to Responsible Day Trading, drop down, see market news, and here we go. We got a lot of stuff going on this week. I guess they're making up for last week where it was kind of quiet. Today we don't have anything. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Remember, this is Central Time. If you ever want to change it, you can just go here to the filters, change up all the information that is best for you. I have this set on the 3 bullheads, so I have it set on the high impact news, and that's all I really look at. Let's head back to what we got going on here. Tuesday, we have 9 a.m. Remember, like I said, this is Central Time, so we got a couple of things going on. It might be a little bit of a market mover there. On Wednesday, what do you know? We got pre-market, we got some news at 9:30, then we got FOMC at 1, which can make the market behave a little strangely. We just want to keep our eyes on that. So Thursday, we've got pre-market and we've got news at 9. Friday, all pre-market. All right, so let's go ahead and check out the market, guys. Now we can see, these are over a couple of months. We did a big pullback, came back again. We've broken back above the Bollinger Bands. We can see it's pulled back and it's poised to move up again. Now, what I'm kind of anticipating is something more along the lines of what we've seen here. Pull back, push up, although not with this particular MACDs, more like right in here. Pull back, push up, not go very far, and then give us a big pullback after. Could it can just continue up and not give us divergence between here, have these MACDs come up and equal this previous pivot point and push up higher? Absolutely. But we may see right now that we've got the potential for divergence. We can see where the price is leading higher. MACDs are struggling to catch up. So it's not considered divergence until it makes the turn. Right now, it's the potential for divergence, but that does give us a big indication that we may see this pull back down before too long. All right, let's go ahead and check out the 28,657, which is our next biggest chart in the arena. So we can see here what's happened. We actually had a bit of a gap, just a little bit of a gap over the weekend. It's all right, not a big deal, tiny one. Now, what's happened is we're getting back above the EMAs. We have not broken back above the 0 line, but it looks like it's making a pretty decent attempt to get back up. We've pretty much equaled that previous pivot point, so it's a little difficult. The momentum, the strength says up. The EMAs are opened up. We need to break up above this EMA, pull away from it, come back into it, and then make new highs in order to feel really comfortable about this market continuing up. But we'll just have to wait and see, right? Like I've said a million times, I'm an immediate trader, so I'm only watching what's happening immediately. Now, speaking of immediately, let's go ahead and look at the market here. And let me pull these up. I don't know why when I open up my charts, sometimes these are a little bit further down, but that's okay. We can just grab them and pull them back up. Okay, so what is my 10,946 telling me, which is where we want to start? We always want to start with the bigger tick chart, move our way down to the smaller tick chart. The bigger tick chart has pulled back into these EMAs that were flat, and we see the MACDs had barely any reaction, some major retracement divergence going on there. And what is retracement divergence? Well, retracement divergence is when the price has a really strong pullback and the MACDs don't quite agree. They just say, no, we're still heading to the upside right now. So that was some major retracement divergence that happened there. That's a good signal that we were going to get a continuation of the push back up to the upside, which it has done already and pulled back into that area. Now, as we pulled back into this area that's held several times, in the immediate, what do we see? we see price leading higher, MACD's leading lower on our trading chart. So this was a good indication of the pushback down. Now we're sitting right here at this bottom Bollinger Band, which could say that it could hold, roll, and push back up. But I'm not a big fan of trading what I call out in the middle. It kind of kicks me in the boo-boo if I trade out in the middle. And what do I mean by that? Well, we're kind of out here in the middle of areas. We haven't really pulled back to an area that says that it should hold, although we have on the 233 being below the zero line says maybe it's going to hold. But we did pull right back into this little bit of a high right here, and it seems to be trying to hold. I'd want to see some real clear indications that this is going to push up pretty hard. MACD's really pushing up from here. Otherwise, I'm going to look for it to pull back into the area first of the EMA here, next of the EMA here, which is areas that can create a bounce. We're not too far from the area here that has been holding. So I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back and then go back up to that area and pull back down. As this EMA here works its way up, it'll give us another target that moves up higher in order to pull back into. So, long story short, the overall currently is up. We see that the market is above the EMAs. It's above the zero line, which tells us up. The immediate is trying to show us more down with all of the MACDs leading lower here and even here. But we're going to have to wait and see, is this 233 area going to be strong enough to hold the market and push it back to the upside? Or are we going to see this pull back a little bit further into an area possibly like this? Now, let me come back to that really quick. If we break below these MACD Bollinger Bands and it does not hold here, the next thing that we might see, and guys, this is always anticipating what could happen, is for this Bollinger Bands or for these BBs to come back up and roll off of the Bollinger Bands and then continue pushing down, especially because we're trying to break through that bottom Bollinger Band here on the 1597. We haven't quite, but we're always looking at these at support and resistance areas. So if it pulls down and breaks through here, which is kind of a weak pull down, if it pulls down and breaks through this Bollinger Band, we'd expect it to pull back in possibly towards the Bollinger Bands and continue pushing down. But like I said, we may see this 233 EMA hold. I'd be a little cautious going off of it personally. That's just me. With all this space open into the area, you see what happened here? We pulled down to that bottom Bollinger Band. It started to move back up and it just continued down, pulled up to that top Bollinger Band and pushed back down again. So something kind of similar to that is what I'm talking about could happen right in here. So while it looks like it's creating reversal bars, it's at the bottom Bollinger Band, we're outside here, and we have the 233 EMA to bounce off of, there's some looks to the MACDs that say just be a little cautious. Don't put all your eggs in this one basket. Divergences, trying to push through that bottom Bollinger Band like we're starting to see here. Weak movements to the upside as we're below the zero line. And we do look at distance below zero lines as areas just to help us to anticipate if that should hold or break. Now in that same breath, we're way above the zero line here. So we got lots of room to travel back. All right, guys. So, starting off, and it's always just a little bit of a, what are we anticipating for the market to do? Not this is what the market's going to do, because none of us are psychic. Well, I guess maybe some of us are, but not me. I'm not psychic, and I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. All I can tell you is what I can anticipate and what I expect. Boom. Look at that pulling back down further. Okay. Yeah, so we see that happening, that pulling back down further, just like we anticipated, pulling outside of that bottom Bollinger Band. We should expect this to pull down just a little bit. We're going to see if this MACD Bollinger Band holds here, but I think we're going to see something more along the lines of what's happening here. Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap that up. Hope that everyone has a wonderful week. I will definitely not be around today, maybe tomorrow, not Wednesday. I'll be out of the office all day Wednesday. And Thursday, I have something on my plate, but I will be intermittent around this week. But, we'll see you. We'll catch up with you. That's for sure. I'm going to be hanging out with you at some point in time. Yeah. All right, guys, I hope everybody has a most beautiful new year. Let's make 2022 the year of the comeback, okay? So if you're struggling, if things are not going your way, make this the year you come back. No matter what goes on in the world and in society, we have the power to choose how we want to feel. We have the power to choose how we feel. It's not always easy, but we can choose it. So just think about that. All right, guys. Love you. I'm so happy to have you here with me. And as always, you know that I look forward to catching you on the profitable side.